man asked for food. Someone collapsed in the yard. A door closed. No one came back. Names are changed. The stories are real. Jacob. Jacob received his evening portion at the distribution line. Small, uneven at the edges. He closed his hand around it before anyone nearby could see the size of it. He pressed it flat against his palm and kept his fingers still. The man's name was Tomas. He had been in the same block for 3 weeks. They had never spoken, but Jacob knew his face. He knew that Tomas had eaten both portions that morning, the moment they were placed in his hands. Standing at the line before taking 2 steps. Now Tomas stood close, not asking directly, not reaching, just within arm's reach, waiting. His hands were at his sides, open. His eyes were on Jacob's coat. Jacob felt the weight of what was inside it. He kept his eyes forward. He kept his posture unchanged. Tomas moved 1 step closer. Not aggressive, just closer, staying in his field of vision without forcing anything. Jacob did not look at him. The silence between them stretched, long enough to mean something. He understood the situation completely. He kept walking. Tomas stayed where he was. Screams carried across the yard. Jacob did not turn around. The next morning, Tomas was not in the line. His place in the count was empty. By evening, someone else was sleeping in his bunk. The small space under the mattress where Tomas had kept things was empty. No one mentioned it. He did not help. Merrick. The count line that morning was thinner on the left side. Merrick noticed from 2 rows back. A prisoner near the middle, older, thinner than most, was losing his footing. His legs shook. His shoulders had begun to drop forward in the way that happened when the body had stopped holding itself up from the inside. The men beside him had drifted apart. There was a gap. Merrick looked at the gap, then at the older man's legs, then at the guards at the edge of the yard. He knew what proximity meant. He had seen it play out before. He moved forward 1 step, quietly. The older man's knees gave. He went down sideways without a sound. He did not put his hands out. His cheek hit the ground. His eyes were open, looking at the sky. 2 men nearby looked at the space where he had been. Their eyes went back to the middle distance. The count continued around him. Shouting came from beyond the fence. Then it stopped. When the count finished, 2 guards gestured to 2 prisoners, who lifted the man and carried him toward the building at the far end of the yard. His feet dragged across the ground. A door opened, then closed. Merrick stood straight and kept his eyes forward. The older man was not in the line the following morning. His bunk had been reassigned by the time Merrick returned to the block. His name was not called at the next count, nor the one after. He had been there yesterday. He was not there today. Merrick stayed. The other did not. Elias. A guard stopped in front of Elias and called a name. His name. The real one. The one that came with a city, a street, an apartment with a window facing east. The name his mother used. He stood still. His hands were at his sides. His eyes fixed on a point past the guard's shoulder. High enough to seem attentive, far enough to seem detached. The guard called it again, louder. The men on either side looked at the ground. Then a number was called. Elias stepped forward immediately. Clean. No hesitation. The guard moved on. Shouting carried from beyond the fence, then silence. Later the name was not called again, only the number. The others had stopped reacting to names entirely. They stood in the line and listened for digits. The names belonged to a different place, a different version of the world. He had heard his name. Something in his chest had moved slightly. A small, involuntary response he noted and set aside. He answered to the number. That was the name now. A man came to Daniel during the work period. He held bread in one hand, a piece the size of 2 fingers pressed together, held low and close to his side. He wanted Daniel's shoes, not the issued ones, the ones Daniel had acquired over 6 weeks through careful negotiations, low voices, brief pauses, one exchange building on another, thicker at the sole. The difference in winter between constant pain and something that was not quite pain. The man held the bread out. His knuckles were pale. Daniel looked at it. He looked at the man's eyes, then at his feet. The issued shoes, leather cracked at the toe, then back at the bread. He understood both sides. The bread was now. The shoes were every cold morning after now. A door opened somewhere behind the worksite, then closed. He gave the bread back. He kept the shoes. The man's hand dropped. He stood there a moment, eyes on Daniel's feet. He had the look of someone who had expected this outcome and asked anyway because there was nothing left to lose by asking. Then he walked back without speaking. Screams carried across the yard. 2 days later, the man was not at the morning count. His place was already filled by someone Daniel didn't recognize. His shoes had been collected. Someone else was wearing them by the following afternoon. Daniel looked down at his own feet. He kept them. Aaron. A man went down between the bunks. No sound, no warning. He had been walking and then he was on the floor. His arms did not come out. His knees hit first, then his side. His eyes were open, looking at the ceiling. Aaron was 2 meters away. He had seen all of it. He stood with one hand on the bunk frame, his fingers pressed into the wood. The man's name was Lev. They had slept in adjacent bunks for weeks. They had exchanged small pieces of information in the brief spaces between demands, where inspections were slow, which guards paid less attention in the afternoon. Enough to know the name. The block continued around them. Men moved. Men lay down. No one stopped. Lev's chest was moving. He was conscious. His lips moved without sound. His eyes found Aaron's face and stayed there. Someone had been taken during the night. Their bunk was already filled by morning. Aaron heard it. He understood what came next if he called out. He understood what came next if he didn't. He had watched both outcomes before. He turned. He lay down on his bunk. He faced the wall. The block settled. Breathing. Shifting weight. Outside, an order was shouted once. Then silence. In the morning, the space on the floor was empty. Lev was not at the count. His number was not answered. His bunk had been taken by the time Aaron returned. The blanket was folded differently. The hollow in the mattress where Lev had slept was already reshaping itself. Aaron did not ask what had happened. He already knew not to ask. The line moved without Lev. No one asked why. Aaron looked away. They saw it happen. They understood. They did nothing. Some survived. Some did not. This is what those moments look like. If stories like these, real, documented, and human, are the kind that stay with you, consider subscribing. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.